All right. The camera's on me, not you, so don't worry. You don't have to worry that it's going to wind up on YouTube. The form of Narayan, four-handed, he has the different symbols in the four hands, dark bluish complexion. So one kind of moksha is called sarupya. You also are awarded a form exactly similar to Narayan, except for a few features. One is the Shri Vatsa. The Shri Vatsa is some hairs on the body of Narayan, which signify the presence of Lakshmi. That's only for Narayan. Those hairs are sometimes described as golden, sometimes silver, sometimes white. I don't know why, but that's how they're described. There are three lines or streaks, which signifies that Lakshmi is always on the chest of Narayan. But other than that, you get the same bodily form as God. Now the next kind is called Salokya. Salokya means you get to reside on the same planet as God. Another is called Samipya. Samipya is the kind of moksha where you have an equal friendly status with Narayan or Krishna. And then the last one is called Sarshti, where you achieve same opulence as God. These liberations, not the first one, but the last four, they're eternal. The other one, where you merge, is not eternal. Eventually, you will come down from that state because it's not a permanent situation. Eventually, you will achieve one of those four other liberations as I mentioned. That's what happens to the soul when there is no more samsara. Do you like that? There is a spiritual realm, a spiritual, just like this world. So this world is made of material energy. The kingdom of God is made of spiritual energy, but it has form. In the kingdom of God, there are chairs, cows, buildings, everything. But it's made not of matter, but spirit. And in the spiritual world, everything is eternal, sat, fully conscious, chit, and ananda, bliss. Bliss means happiness, unending, always increasing. This is difficult for us to appreciate because we don't experience that here in Diamond Bar. Our happiness comes and goes. But Ananda is ever increasing happiness. No, that's, no. No, I mentioned you get a form. We're talking about the other four, not that first one. So you have a form. See, on the Krishna planet, everybody looks human. On the planets of Narayan, they have that four-handed form, okay? But on the Krishna planet, and what I've been told, no, that's different. On the Krishna planet, everybody has human-like forms, or it might be a form of a cow, or a peacock, or a tree. But as a tree, you'll be fully conscious. And Krishna will come and pick your flower, and you'll know that Krishna is picking your flower, and you'll feel so good. On Krishna, see, the planets of Narayan, there are billions. There's a planet for Nisringa, Ram, Varaha, Vaman. All the different avatars have their own spiritual planet. But above all of those is the Krishna planet, which has 3 neighborhoods: Dwaraka, Mathura, and Vrindavan. And Krishna is situated differently in those 3 neighborhoods. In Vrindavan, he's a cowherd boy, eternally. 16 years old, that's how he looks, okay? And everybody on Krishna's planet, they either milk cows or they grow food. And everybody is simply interacting with Krishna. Just like you have a family and you have different interactions. So on Krishna's planet, you will interact personally with Krishna. Even if you're a cow, Krishna has many cows, and he calls them by name, and Krishna massages them, hugs them. Would you like to be hugged by Krishna? Forever? Yes. Like that. What more you would wish to know? Do you like all this? Good. Who else has a question? You have, if you don't achieve moksha, right, and you can reside in one of 14 planetary systems, the realms of the Devatas on Earth, and there are planets below Earth. For instance, you've heard of Bali Maharaj. He's on one of the low planets, Sutala, and he's the king of those demons, even though he's a devotee. So there are planets below Earth which are inhabited by, you could say, more demoniac or more materialistic realms. This is all described in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Mahatala, Patala. There are planetary systems below Earth where the inhabitants are more materialistic, if you can imagine. Then above Earth, the inhabitants are more heavenly, more pious. The realms of the moon, the sun, Venus, Jupiter. These planets are inhabited by persons who are more advanced, more pious. For instance, if you have read the Mahabharata, Arjuna was allowed to enter the heavenly planets. He got to meet his father, Indra. And there was a whole series of events of Arjuna residing in the heavenly planets. And it was mentioned there that the laws that govern humans don't apply to the residents of the heavenly planets. And then above the heavenly planets are the planets of the rishis and sages. And then the topmost planet is the planet of Lord Brahma, the creator. Now, beyond the planet of Lord Brahma, before you go to the spiritual world, is the kingdom of Mahadev, Lord Shiva. He has his own realm above the material world, but below this spiritual world, or Vaikuntha. So, as we learn in the Bhagavad Gita, whoever you worship, that's where you go. So people who are pure, this is the key, pure worshippers of Lord Shiva, they will go to his realm. Those who worship Indra will go to his abode. And as Krishna says in the Bhagavad, and those who worship me, come to me. What do you think about that? Yes.
I have seen that book that says Seven Moons. It's from the Krishna temple, and it's talking about all these planets that are saying, all these lokas. But let's come back to now Earth.
Yes.
You are not even talking about Earth.
Fine.
Reincarnation right here, we can experience, like when we say like my mom passed away. She could be very well on Earth or could be in other lokas that you mentioned.
That's right. That is very true.
And my question is just very precise to Earth. Okay, so the form that I know my mom, she won't be in that form.
No. That form, mom form is gone.
Gone,
Right.
right? So we burned that body. That body is not coming
That's
back.
not coming back.
So now my mom could be living in any other body,
Might be even being a man.
man or woman or animal, or
Any
animal
form.
or a tree.
That is correct. Although I have a feeling she's not a tree.
No, I'm just
But saying yes, in general.
in general.
Yes, yes, yes.
So now it's more, I'm coming to more practical when we are living on this earth, that how we should live. It's not relating to moksha or God or anything. It's about more about toward karma, like how should we live. So coming that to point, knowing that my mom could be where I won't recognize her because I'm more familiar with her, that feature and that body. So she could be in some other body, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my point of the whole thing is that when we act, when we don't live in harmony, we don't like, we put others down, we don't like, let's say very simple, love each other.
I like those terms.
So
I like those terms.
not knowing that the people that were very close to us could be in the person that I'm dealing right now very hatefully or putting them down, or could be my mom could be residing in that but in a different shape. So my point is that why we, especially the people that come to realize this point, I think, I don't know what other people, but Hindus I know, they believe in reincarnation. And knowing us that we believe in reincarnation, and when we act differently to other people, or we put ourselves on top and put others down, or we hate them, or we fight them, or we put them, anything like that, why do we do that without knowing that my very close family member could be reincarnated in that person?
We do that for several reasons. One is the problem with the human nature is that we are very forgetful. So right now, we are conscious of everything you said. We're aware. But tomorrow, life happens, things happen, and we tend to forget. See, what you are explaining, this is the mode of goodness. Persons who live strictly by the mode of goodness always have this kind of mentality. But because we're householders and because we're very involved in the world with our families, our jobs, those situations cause us to forget this high state of consciousness, and it tends to bring us down. Therefore, the solution is two things. Try to live as far as possible in the mode of goodness. And number two, try not to become affected by the material world. And it's not easy. This is why we have to every day study Bhagavad Gita, do our japa, or I think you do meditation, right?
I
Good. But do you also do meditation? I thought you do
I
meditation.
try, but then I think while reading the Bhagavad Gita, I get into the meditation.
Oh, that is for sure. Like, wait. That is for
But I
sure.
don't literally do that mala.
That's coming. I will see to that. After all, am I not the family purohit here? So my job, I'm taking you step by step. You will come to that step. But that's the key. Because of business, the world, we forget. Everybody becomes affected. It is not easy to stay in that frame of mind if you're not living even in an ashram. Even those who are living in temples and ashrams also get affected. First of all, it's Kali Yuga. The atmosphere is not designed. Everything around you is going against you. In Kali Yuga, to pursue spiritual life is like swimming upstream. It's a constant struggle. Just like my best friend here, Krishna Kumar Kundan. What time you get up in the morning? Huh? 3:30. So every day 3:30 he's up and he's doing his japa. And he's struggling because the modes are coming and he's thinking about business and he's thinking about this and this. But he has to fight it. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Right? We all have to go through that. You have to fight, to struggle. To be spiritual in the age of Kali, you have to be tough. You have to be determined. Okay? Do we want more questions or do we want chapter 18? Anybody have a question? Hey, Vay, you always have a question. Not today? All right. You have questions? So we ready for chapter 18? I'm waiting for the boss to give the signal. Oh, good. Not necessarily. Sometimes it depends. It depends on how attached that particular soul was to the particular individual. Now, in the case of cremation, that pretty much arranges it so there is no more attachment. What happens is, if you have lived a pious life, you get an upgrade. You know, you ever fly in a plane, there's economy, there's first class. So sometimes when you have miles, or you get an upgrade, right? You're supposed to be in economy, but they move you up to first class. That's happened to me. So if you've been pious, you get a upgrade. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that if you die in the mode of goodness, then you go to the higher planets. And now you have a whole new family, and you have a whole new experience. In the Mahabharata, when when Arjuna went to the heavenly planets, he saw some of his forefathers, and he was able to recognize them, and they were, of course, able to recognize him. He met some of his ancestors. There is a planet called the planet of the ancestors. It's called Pitri Loka. You might achieve that planet of your ancestors, families that you've had, because you have a family this life, but you've had so many families before. Sometimes we come back on earth. That's for people who primarily live in the mode of passion. They come back as a human. And those who live too much in the mode of ignorance, they take a lower birth, animal, aquatic, bird, like that. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. All right.